tonight when heat and humidity turn dangerous.
We get calls for this type of thing every single day.
The extra call to animal owners about life-threatening conditions. A pitch for early parole.
It's called a faint hope clause because it is the last, it's the faint hope of the accused.
A man convicted of orchestrating his wife's death will be allowed to make his case to a jury. Still waiting to be paid.
I know him. He never pays someone.
Workers continuing to speak out about a wage theft case after a court punishment was handed down. Feeling the heat. Most of southern Ontario is under a heat warning. Large parts of the province are sweltering tonight. Dangerous heat and humidity continue to blanket the southern portion of the province. And while heat waves in June are not unusual in Ontario, what makes this one feel different is the humidex. People are being urged to stay indoors and to be cautious if they do have to go out. Good evening. The first heat wave of the summer is blanketing southern Ontario, making it feel like it's in the mid-40s. Tonight, a warning about how dangerous that can be for people and for our pets. CTV's Heather Centerin reports.
The summer is already heating up. Staff at the KW Humane Society say the rule is simple. If it's too hot for you, it's too hot for your pet.
If you can't put your hand on the pavement and not get too hot too quickly, then your pet probably can't be walking on the pavement in that heat.
Unfortunately, as soon as the season starts, the calls come in about people spotting dogs left alone in hot cars.
We get calls for this type of thing every single day in this type of weather.
Experts say no excuses. Leave your pet at home if you have to.
Even if there's water in the car, even if you leave the car running with the air conditioner on, you never know when your battery might die. It's just not worth the risk.
Staff say in this scenario where a pet is unattended in a vehicle, call police first and then the Humane Society.
Like oftentimes by the time the police get there or some service agency is on site, the owner has returned, and then it's a conversation and an education piece about how to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Of course, pets and humans are equally at risk being left alone in a hot vehicle, and it takes mere minutes for things to take a dangerous or even deadly turn.
So without adequate airflow and proper ventilation, temperatures can get very hot very quickly, and you know, besides that, you're sitting in sort of stagnant air.
Those very young and very old or with underlying health issues need to be extra cautious in extreme heat. Ways to avoid it besides staying in:
wear loose, light clothes, pack plenty of water if you're going outside to stay hydrated, block the sun if you know, using curtains, blinds, wear your sunscreen, but best of all, just avoid exposure if at all possible.
And for furry friends, keep an eye out for the signs of heat stroke.
If they were panting to the point where they were drooling, vomiting, if they had become limp or appeared unconscious.
Experts say the best way to beat the heat is to avoid exposure if at all possible.
And that was CTV's Heather Centerin reporting tonight. Okay, time for our first check on the weather, I should say, as we head outside to Alex Pinto. Alex, you know, just very uncomfortable out there this evening.
Oh yeah, even just stepping outside here, you could just feel that wave of humidity really hit you. And even for us, we're definitely limiting our time outdoors for these hits. So when it comes to that heat warning, as you noted before too, and Heather especially, when it comes to people and pets, definitely not a day you want to leave. You never want to leave them in your vehicle, but especially not today. When it comes to outdoor activities, early morning, evening hours, that's what you want to aim for. But even for today especially, you may want to avoid it altogether. Definitely staying out of that sunshine as well, in as much shade as you can. But I do want to note, with that humidex, yeah, feeling closer to 42 to 46 depending where you are. So we are feeling the heat as many people try to find ways to beat the heat. So right now we are sitting at 34 degrees here in Kitchener, Waterloo, but as noted, with that humidex, we are right now feeling more like 41. So a significant spike. And again, that heat and humidity has been with us since the early morning hours, and definitely no relief in sight until we get into tomorrow and later in the day. So we're going to break down when we could see a chance for a little bit of wet weather to move in and give us a little bit of relief from that heat a little bit later. Tony.
Okay, Alex, appreciate it. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you shortly. Several communities in northern Ontario have declared states of emergency as they clean up following a severe storm over the weekend.
I was terrified. But there was this part of me that kept telling myself, it's okay. It's okay. No matter what happens, it's going to be okay.
A possible tornado on Saturday just east of North Bay flooded roads, brought trees down, and left some people trapped in Algonquin Provincial Park. The community of Calvin has issued a shelter-in-place order. Calvin and the town of Bonfield nearby have declared states of emergency. The OPP have been telling people to avoid non-essential travel as the cleanup continues and as crews assess the damage. A Kitchener man convicted of first-degree murder for orchestrating the death of his wife has cleared the first hurdle in his bid for early release from prison. A judge has ruled that Ronald Cyr can make his case to a jury. CTV's Krista Simpson joins us now with more details on this. Krista, this was a murder that really shocked the entire community.
Tony, Nadia Gale was shot in broad daylight as she was headed to work at a toy store. A jury ultimately convicted 3 men in her death. Now one of them is hoping to apply for an earlier parole using a process that was abolished nearly 2 years after Gale's murder.
Nadia Gale was fatally shot while on her way to catch a bus on February 2nd, 2009. More than 2 years later, a jury found her husband, Ronald Cyr, guilty of first-degree murder for orchestrating her killing. Dennis Zavalensky and his friend Nishat Kawash were also found guilty of the same charge for actually carrying out the shooting. They were all sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole for 25 years. Cyr's first chance to apply for parole won't come until August 2034. But now, 15 years after he was first incarcerated, Cyr has taken the first step towards the possibility of early release, using the faint hope clause, an option that is only available to people who committed murder before December 2011.
Theoretically, what it was supposed to do was to provide individuals who are otherwise not parole eligible for up to 25 years some incentive to get better, to reintegrate.
The first step is an application to a judge, and in this case, a Superior Court of Ontario judge has decided there is a reasonable prospect a jury could grant Cyr's request. The decision means Cyr can next make his case to a panel of his peers.
It's really about danger to the community, and danger can be assessed largely. It's not a retrial of the trial, but it can be assessed from what's happened in the last 15 years, what the offender has done while in custody.
Cyr is now 46 years old and currently incarcerated at Beaver Creek Institution in Gravenhurst, where he and others say he's changed. The judge writing in the decision, those closest to him consider that he has worked hard during the period of incarceration to change his life in order to become a better person. He has shown remorse and is described as kind and thoughtful. The decision also says Cyr has converted to Judaism and has support from members of his family. The Crown opposed the request, noting the facts of the offense, which the appeal court described as an execution-style killing. A jury decision to change Cyr's parole eligibility would have to be unanimous.
It's called a faint hope clause because it is the last, it's the faint hope of the accused. But also when you look at the results of this, it's very rare that that parole eligibility is changed. But there are cases where it has happened.
Defense lawyer Kim Schofield, who is not involved in this case, says it is likely a jury would be paneled in a matter of months to consider Cyr's application. Now, to be clear, that jury can only decide whether to shorten the period of parole ineligibility. If a jury does decide to do that, then Cyr would still need to apply to the Parole Board of Canada, which makes the decision on granting parole. Tony.
Okay, appreciate that information. Krista Simpson, thank you. Hamilton police have laid a murder charge in the disappearance of Shalini Singh. The 40-year-old was reported missing in December, and now investigators have determined that partial human remains found in a landfill belong to her. CTV's John Musselman reports.
Hamilton detectives confirmed the devastating news today. The partial human remains discovered in a Hamilton area landfill site belong to 40-year-old Shalini Singh. Police allege she was murdered inside her Hamilton apartment on the night of December the 4th or early in the morning on December the 5th. Her body was removed from the building through the garbage disposal system. When police confirmed the DNA analysis, her common-law partner was arrested.
Later that day, 42-year-old Jeffrey Smith of Burlington, Shalini's common-law partner at the time of her death, was arrested without incident. He has now been charged with second-degree murder and indignity to human remains.
Singh was last seen alive in December on security video entering her building. She was never seen leaving it. She was reported missing by her family on December the 10th. Police were initially searching for her and her common-law partner, but he was found the next day at a family member's house. Detectives say the Singh family has asked for privacy.
This is not only about resolving an investigation, but it's about giving answers to a family who have waited a very long time to get to this point. And even though they've waited this long and the moment has built up to this, it still is a shock to them to get the confirmation.
Police are not discussing a possible motive, saying it's now before the courts. Investigators say Singh and Smith were together as a couple between 5 and 7 years. The accused in this case made his first court appearance on Saturday. He has been remanded in custody. John Musselman, CTV News in Hamilton.
Well, police are investigating an attempted bank robbery in Scarborough early this morning. Police were called to a bank on Port Union Road just before 3 a.m. When they arrived, they found an excavator at the scene and extensive damage to the building. Police say the suspects took off before they were able to get their hands on any money. They have not provided any suspect descriptions. Some former workers of a business implicated in a wage theft case say they still haven't been paid. Dutchies and its business director were fined in court last week for not paying employees, but some say that ruling doesn't cover everyone who's waiting. CTV's Jeff Pickle following this for us tonight. And Jeff, you spoke with a recent victim who says he's still waiting to be paid.
Well, Tony, these offenses Renkema pled guilty to only account for the violations that occurred within a 2-year window. Anyone who won a claim before or after that but hasn't yet been paid are likely still waiting on their owed wages. And the alleged victim we spoke with today says he is hopeful the courts will get involved in more cases.
After multiple delays and claims that are now several years old, the owner of Dutchie's Fresh Market was punished for 13 Employment Standard Act violations. In addition to repaying these employees, Dutchie's was fined $25,000 and Renkema additional $7,500. Good news for the 13 victims, but according to the Ministry of Labor, Dutchie's has roughly 80 violations with over half unsatisfied or under investigation. In a statement to CTV News, Renkema said he is sorry and vows to do better, but some recent employees are not buying it.
He would not do it. It is on. He had to go through the court because he will never pay anyone like this. I know him. He never pays someone.
Addy, who is not part of this court decision, worked at Dutchie's from June 2024 until February of this year and says he is owed thousands of dollars. After the court ruling, he says he is hopeful.
I am hoping so because the people, 13 people get their money back.
But says he thinks it will only happen if the courts get involved.
I think that will be put stress on him to pay the employees.
Addy says several of his fellow co-workers tell him they are also still waiting on their pay, and CTV News has heard from others who have not been paid their owed wages. At this point, it's unclear if any other violations will be prosecuted.
Now, in his statement, Michael Renkema blamed contractors for millions of dollars in losses at the Gateway Park Drive location in Kitchener. However, court records show a refrigeration company successfully sued Dutchie's and Renkema for $350,000 because they say Renkema stopped paying them and did not let them finish setting up the refrigeration equipment. Also, around 40 of the 80 Employment Standard Act claims were made well before the December 2021 opening of that Gateway Drive location. That's showing a pretty clear discrepancy in Renkema's statement. Tony.
CTV's Jeff Pickle reporting live with that update. Jeff, thank you for that. World news now, and Iran made good today on its threat to attack the U.S. after the Trump administration dropped 30,000 bunker buster bombs on 3 nuclear facilities. The U.S. was expecting what is being called a symbolic retaliation on a U.S. military air base in Qatar. CTV's Joy Malbin has the latest.
Explosions boomed over the night sky, terrifying images of missiles seen over Doha and posted on social media. Iranian state TV said it fired missiles at the Al Adid U.S. military base that President Donald Trump visited just 1 month ago. Qatar says its air defenses managed to intercept Iranian missiles, and no casualties have been reported. The attack was announced on Iran state TV Proportionate. Iran said to the attack by the U.S. it was bomb for bomb. This was retaliation, Iran says, for the U.S. bombing Saturday. Satellite imagery shows the damage to 3 nuclear facilities targeted by the U.S. President Donald Trump warned Iran this was a one-off and not to strike back, or else.
Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier.
Iran reportedly gave Qatar advance notice of the attacks, temporarily closing its airspace, U.S. military bases, and major U.S. cities on high alert. The president meeting with his national security team and the Trump administration stressing,
we're not at war with Iran, we're at war with Iran's nuclear program.
But it comes as the president, sure to anger Iran, floated the idea of regime change.
Of course, Iran would like to escalate in response to the Israeli and the American attacks, but we will see exactly whether Iran is actually able to effectively respond. And I think this is what we're going to see over the next 48 hours.
Throughout all this, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff has kept in touch with Iranian officials. The Trump administration still leaving the door open to some kind of diplomatic resolution. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Washington.
Prime Minister Mark Carney was in Belgium today to meet with European leaders and sign a new defense and security agreement. But the conflict in the Middle East and calls for de-escalation with Iran threatened to overshadow the new commitments. CTV's Jeremy Sharon reports.
A morning visit to a military cemetery kick-started Prime Minister Mark Carney's first full day in Belgium. A ceremony to honor hundreds of fallen Canadian soldiers buried here after the First and Second World War. Ahead of this Canada-EU summit, a meeting between Carney and European leaders focused on joint security and defense.
Very, very warm welcome to this EU-Canada summit.
We look forward to moving to an ever closer partnership with the European Union.
Here, Carney signed a new security and defense pact with European Union leaders aimed at diversifying its trade and defense industrial partnerships, billed as a first step towards more defense procurement from Europe and an eventual plan to get Canada into the Rearm Europe military program.
It will help us deliver on our new requirements for capabilities more rapidly and more effectively. It will help build our industries, secure our jurisdictions.
But Carney's European trip has been dominated already by the escalating war in the Middle East. The Prime Minister spoke with President Trump overnight and says de-escalation was a focus of their conversation.
Where the state of Iran has been a sponsor of terrorism, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and beyond. And where at least in our opinion, Canada has listed the Iranian Revolutionary Guard as a terrorist organization, active terrorist organization. These are violations of international law.
Carney travels to The Hague in the morning for a highly anticipated NATO meeting where it's expected the conflict in the Middle East will dominate too. NATO's Secretary General was pressed on it today.
That is why NATO has said Iran should not, and this is a consistent position of NATO, Iran should not have its hands on a nuclear weapon. So, and I would not agree that this is against international law, what the U.S. did.
The Hague summit will also see the alliance look at a new baseline spending target of 5% of GDP. Canada only this month committed to meeting the current 2% target this fiscal year, a decade after the alliance agreed to it. Jeremy Sharon, CTV News, Brussels.
And a reminder to start your day with the CTV Kitchener newsletter. The best local content from CTV News delivered right to your inbox, including a look at the day's top stories, the latest weather forecast, and some must-see videos. You can sign up for the newsletter over on our website, ctvnewskitchener.ca. If weighing in on a city budget doesn't sound all that interesting, how about having your say through a robot? Coming up, the interactive device that's being rolled around Cambridge to ask people how the city should spend its tax dollars.
I'm Karis Mapp in Waterloo Park, where a new leash-free dog park has been approved. City Council voting in favor of a staff report that will see a temporary off-leash park here, but they're still looking to cement a more permanent location for the future. That story is just ahead.
Well, this is really going to be your best friend today, staying as hydrated as you can as that heat wave continues. We'll let you know when we could see a little bit of relief in sight coming up.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVKitchener.ca, your home for news.
Waterloo is getting a new place for pets to run free. City Council's approved a temporary leash-free dog park in Waterloo Park. And that's where we find CTV's Karis Mapp tonight, live with more details. So Karis, where exactly will the fences be going up for this park?
Tony, it will be found in the green space off Westmount Road North between the Paramedic Services Building and the park's West Gazebo. During Waterloo's council meeting earlier today, it was a unanimous vote to begin the project, but plans for a more permanent park are still being decided. Dog owners in Waterloo will have a new leash-free park coming to town. Currently an open space in Waterloo Park, soon to be transformed into a place for pooches to socialize and stretch their legs. The city's council voting unanimously in favor of the $45,000 project this afternoon.
It was an unbudgeted item that was presented to staff at this point. It wasn't identified in the 3-year budget, and it wasn't identified in our work plan. So we threw together a number of locations that seemed to be feasible within the uptown area. This presented itself as an option that it was kind of immediately ready in terms of a pop-up.
The cost will cover temporary rental fencing, signage, and dog waste disposal bins. Preparation for the park will begin immediately, with staff hoping to have it operational by the end of summer, an idea that has local dog owners over the moon.
I'm very, very excited. I've actually been wanting the city to put in a leash-free dog park in this park for many, many years. One of the things that I've always found really frustrating about Uptown is that if you want to go to an off-leash dog park, you have to drive. Whereas I can walk to Waterloo Park every day.
The 2-year pop-up project could become a permanent fixture if it checks all the boxes. Staff are also considering a list of places to cement a more long-term location.
The Waterloo Park plan as a whole, I think, needs to be reviewed before we determine that this would be, a permanent location for a leash-free dog park.
It comes up in the park all the time when we're walking dogs that we want that kind of space. So I think myself and a number of people would support that initiative.
For a short time, or here to stay, pet owners are simply grateful for the potential.
My dog is turning 6, but she still loves to have a real good romp around. I also think it's really important for dogs to socialize without being on leash. They need the chance to sort of sniff around, engage with other dogs.
Some of the criteria a permanent park needs to meet include land, size and location, accessibility, as well as safety and security, Project officials say there will also be a community feedback component before bringing it back to council for approval. Tony.
Okay, Karis Mapp live in Waterloo Park with those details. Karis, thank you for that. The city of Cambridge is bringing its budget conversation straight to the people with a little help from a robot. Meet Witty, the city's new budget robot, and that stands for What's Important to You. It's part of a push to collect input for the city's 2026 spending plan. The touchscreen-equipped device is being brought around to different locations until July 31st, giving people a chance to weigh in.
We have discovered that people want to be part of the budget, but that how can they be part of the budget if we don't bring it to them? Because a lot of people don't have computers, or they don't have access to the type of Wi-Fi they maybe need in order to have that. We're taking it to them so that they can have as much input as they would like to have, or as little as they would like to have.
You can find the robot at some city buildings this week, including the W.G. Johnson Center and others. Okay, let's take a live look outside now at the skyline. A hazy, humid day. Temperatures feeling like they're in the mid-40s, just uncomfortable, and as we've been mentioning, downright dangerous as well, especially when it comes to your pets. Alex is back in just a couple of moments to let us know when this heat wave will break and when we're expecting more seasonal conditions. Also coming up, it's all in the details. We'll stop by a business in Kitchener for a look at how they give everyone's everyday vehicles a showroom new shine on this week's edition of Made Right Here. But next, a break in a cold case. A convicted killer now also charged in a decades-old homicide near Peterborough. John Woodward will have an update on that investigation next. Well, Alex is here with a look at the forecast, and as predicted, oh, by the way, as predicted on the weekend, it was a day to watch out on Saturday because I was actually over at a ball diamond where there was a T-ball tournament happening, and everyone was wondering, are we going to have to cancel some of these games or not? But we got through it, and then just like promised, the heat is on.
Yeah, the heat is on, and yeah, it's going to be with us at least until tomorrow night. But that's what the big talk about was, the heat, the humidity, and with that humidex, it feeling like mid-40s in some areas.
And don't let the breeze fool you. No. I think this is what's happened to me, is that I thought the breeze was making it a lot more bearable, but no, that it'll catch up with you. Yeah, and even we were talking about, you know, drinking water too, and drinking before you feel thirsty. That's key. And you know, something I admittedly probably didn't do enough of today, but I've been chugging water behind the scenes and carrying that water bottle with me. Like we said, that water bottle is going to be your best friend as we take a live look outside tonight. No clouds, but yeah, it is hot, it is humid, and even with a little bit of a breeze in some areas, it's still quite uncomfortable outside. So I want to start with this heat warning that we are seeing right across southern Ontario. So everything in that pink, you are under that heat warning. So dangerously hot and humid conditions for today, expected to break tomorrow night before we could see a little bit of that relief. So daytime highs, depending where you are, between 33 and 36, but with that humidex values felt closer to 42 and 45. So quite a hot one out there. We're currently sitting at 33 degrees here in Kitchener-Waterloo. It is 35 in Toronto. By the water, Goderich, you're sitting at about 29 degrees right now. But then when we look at that humidex here in KW, feeling closer to 42, 41 in Toronto, and 37 in Goderich. Wyerton feeling closer to 40 this hour. When we look at our future cast, like we saw in our live shot, no cloud cover out there, and it looks like it's going to be pretty clear conditions for most of the day. But then as we get into tomorrow, that's when we could see a chance for a bit of that cloud cover to move in and a bit of active weather. So I want to pause it here. So 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, near Wyerton, you could see a risk for a thunderstorm there and a little bit of that wet weather moving in. And then it's not until about 6 or so tomorrow evening. At this point, Kitchener-Waterloo could see some heavier rainfall at times, and then more to the southwest. So Windsor, Chatham, Kent, Port Stanley areas, also a risk for a thunderstorm too. There is a chance for a thunderstorm we could see here in Kitchener-Waterloo as well tomorrow, but that's not until the afternoon hours or so. So something we're going to keep an eye on. So our high, we did hit it, and we beat a record today. So previously the record was 31.6. That was in 1983. Record low, 1.3 degrees. That was in 1986. Our low for tonight, though, is 23, which is still quite hot out there. The sun now rising at 5:41 in the morning. That's probably a good time to maybe, if you can, get up early and take the dog for a very brief walk. That's what you want to do before getting into the day. And that sun is setting at 9:07 p.m. We're definitely timing those dog walks out for tonight. We're doing a lot of enrichment activities inside, trying to get as cool and comfortable as we can and avoiding that heat. So overnight, as noted, 23 degrees, clear conditions. And then when we get into tomorrow, 30% chance of showers with the risk of that thunderstorm expected in the afternoon. Then we look at the next 7 days, some active weather for you Thursday and Friday, 60% chance of showers with a high of 28 and then 25. Lambton, Kenton, Essex, also a chance for some active weather when we look at Wednesday and Thursday. You also have a risk of a thunderstorm when we look at tomorrow in the afternoon. And then for southern Georgian Bay, also a risk for a thunderstorm in the afternoon. So similar conditions throughout, but then a 30% chance of showers for your Wednesday with a high of 30 degrees. So still quite warm that day.
And here is tonight's Weather Watcher picture. Andrew sending us this shot saying he took a sunset dip in Lake Huron yesterday after enjoying some great weather. Thanks for sending this, Andrew. You are tonight's Weather Watcher picture. For sure, a really good week to spend some time by a pool, water, sprinkler, whatever you can get. If not, air conditioning or going to one of those cooling centers we've been talking about too. But a beautiful shot, but you definitely want to make sure you have that heat top of mind.
Top of mind. And I heard from some people who did take a dip in the lake, various lakes over the weekend, say, yeah, the water's still pretty cold, but I imagine by the end of this week that is going to change.
I wish we could do like a little test to see.
Yeah, before and after.
Definitely.
Well, we'll see it play out. Alex, thank you very much.
Thank you.
There is a significant development tonight in an Ontario cold case. A man convicted of killing an elderly couple in Toronto in the 90s has now been charged in a decades-old murder near Peterborough. CTV's John Woodward reports.
In the 1990s, David Snow was known as the House Hermit, named because of his break-and-enters into empty cottages in southern Ontario, sometimes living in them. In 1992, he told Ian and Nancy Blackburn he wanted to buy their barn on a property in Caledon. They were last seen alive on April 7th. Police searched their cottage and found Nancy Blackburn's handbag still on the bed, her medication on the dresser. Their bodies were found a week later in their car on their Toronto driveway. The cause of death, strangulation. Police at the time issued warnings to cottage-goers.
People should take care if they go up and open a cottage, they should get a good look around first before they enter the cottage.
The trail led to Snow. He had already used a rail pass to flee to BC, where he abducted and sexually assaulted 4 women. He was arrested, returned, and convicted. The Blackburns' nephew astonished at his crimes.
I've had the occasion to actually be quite close to him and stare him right in the eye, and it's just a blank stare. It just doesn't seem to be anything there.
Snow was a suspect in at least 12 murders, including that of gift shop owner Carolyn Case, also found dead in the area.
He has not shown any type of remorse at any time in my meetings with him.
Some 34 years later, the OPP visited Snow, now 70 years old, in Bath Institution to arrest him again, laying another murder charge. This time for a woman who went missing more than 6 months before the Blackburns, 40-year-old Angeline Quinnell.
The OPP never closes a case, and it doesn't matter how much time has passed.
Quinnell's family telling CTV News they hope for privacy, as the decades-old cold case will soon be prosecuted in a Peterborough courtroom. John Woodward, CTV News.
The stores have closed, but what about the leases? Coming up, Hudson's Bay is back in court, where a billionaire mall owner wants to get a hold of those storefronts.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Hudson's Bay is back in court today. This time it was looking for approval to sell several of its leases to a billionaire mall owner. Ruby Liu has offered $6 million to take over the Bay locations at the 3 malls in British Columbia that she owns. She also wants the storefronts at 25 more malls that she does not own. She's currently facing some pushback from landlords. The judge hearing the case is also being asked to change the name of HBC in creditor protection since Canadian Tire has bought the rights to the brand and they're seeking to avoid confusion. Okay, recapping our top stories that we're following on this Monday evening. CTV's Ashley Bacon joining us in studio with the latest on the first major heat wave of summer, Ashley.
That's right, Tony. And as records were broken today, there's a reminder to keep an eye on people and, of course, pets. The Humane Society says that they get calls daily when summer rolls around with people concerned about dogs left in hot cars. They say it is okay to call them in that scenario, but suggest you call police first. But when in doubt, keep your pets indoors when you're able to, and never leave a dog unattended in a vehicle, even if it's running, and even if you leave it with some water. Now, an update about a Kitchener man convicted in the murder of his wife more than 15 years ago. Ronald Sear has cleared the first hurdle in his bid for early parole. Sear was one of 3 people found guilty of first-degree murder in the death of his wife in 2009. Now he is hoping to apply for early parole using a process that was abolished nearly 2 years after after the murder. Defense lawyer Kim Schofield, who is not involved in the case, says it's likely a jury would be paneled in a matter of months to consider Sears' application.
And Ashley, looking at what our digital team is working on tonight, this story might fall under the category of drivers behaving badly.
I would say so. Police in Paris pulling over a driver today, finding they had stacked multiple mattresses on top of their vehicle. The driver was stopped this afternoon after being spotted by police with the unsecure load. For more information on this story, you can scan the QR code on the bottom left of your screen to get the story on your CTV News app or to download the app right now. You can also visit our website, ctvnewskitchener.ca. Tony.
All right. No, some days you come in and you think
shake your head on that one.
I've seen everything. You think I've seen it all, and then you come in and you see something else.
There we go.
All right. Our digital team's got it all. Thanks, Ash.
Thanks.
A longtime Kitchener vehicle dealership is known for its lineup of cars and trucks, but it's the detailing bay that's been quietly stealing the show. On this week's Made Right Here, we get a closer look at how this team transforms everyday vehicles into something that looks and feels showroom new.
Hello, my name is Vicky. I am the detail manager here at Shear Chevrolet, and we're going to be looking at how we clean your vehicles. We offer customer cleans, 4 different types of packages. There's a bronze, a silver, a gold, and a platinum. We also offer in-house cleanings, so from used vehicles that customers trade in. Anything that they might need is what we do. We usually inspect them first. We wash the vehicles with non-wax soap because ceramic doesn't like to stick onto wax very well. And then we squeegee and we wipe down the vehicle. And we also air dry into all the crevices. After that, then we take our alcohol, our isopropylene alcohol, and we wipe down the entire vehicle, hood, roof, all the panels. Our ceramic comes in a kit. We mix 1 and 2 together. We apply it onto the sponge, and then we do a crisscross section on every panel. And then after applying, we let it sit for about 15 minutes just to let it fully cure before wiping it off. And that's the ceramic coating. One of the tools that we use that not everybody has would probably have to be the Tornador. It attaches to our air line and it's kind of cone shaped and it has this little spout in the middle. It kind of scoops whatever is embedded in the carpets or, you know, in your trunk and stuff. It then blows it outwards, so it's really good for hair, sand. It really just makes it effortless. I think it's more or less the attention to detail. People really appreciate that. People just thanking me or one of my department workers just for doing something over the top, giving a little extra when not needed. When some vehicles come in and they're pretty far gone, but then by the time they leave, they're like, you wouldn't have never known in the first place how bad it was. So, you know, I take a lot of pride in being able to make that happen.
A basketball player with roots in Hamilton has quickly become one of the biggest names in the game. Coming up, some of the history-making accomplishments Shai Gilgeous-Alexander can now add to his list of achievements. A star on the basketball court with roots right here in southern Ontario is making history again. Hamilton's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander helping the Oklahoma City Thunder capture their first NBA title last night. And as CTV's Mike Walker reports, he's quickly become one of the league's biggest names.
A giant image of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander proudly on display outside his former high school, Sir Alan McNabb. And there is civic pride today with the Hamilton native, now an NBA champion.
Proud to be a Hamiltonian. It's like he has wings, he can fly. It's just so hard to describe. I'm just totally amazed.
Considering I went to McNabb, it's amazing.
It's good for Hamilton, and it's nice to hear a Hamilton boy winning it.
Gilgeous-Alexander led the way with 29 points as the Oklahoma City Thunder won their first NBA championship, defeating the Pacers 103-91 in Game 7.
Everything. That's why you play the sport. You play the sport to win.
The 26-year-old capturing the finals MVP, a first for a Canadian.
You're asking about what separates him probably from the bunch. I think that's it, is consistency and the discipline to get better.
His father calls this success a blessing after years of hard work and a strong support system.
Late nights in the gym, early mornings, trainers and coaches and all the people that helped us get here. You don't do that stuff by yourself.
Gilgeous-Alexander now enters an elite club, becoming only the 4th player in NBA history to win league MVP, finals MVP, the scoring title, and championship, all in the same season.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, and now Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So he's in great company, rare company. And look, I have seen enough to say with confidence that this is the greatest Canadian basketball player ever.
The way that he's representing Canada is just unbelievable.
Tim Francis was Gilgeous-Alexander's high school basketball coach and watched the finals beaming with pride.
We saw the hard work, we saw the work ethic, being an NBA champion, being an MVP of the finals, an MVP of the league. I don't think anybody saw that coming. But we did know that he was going to get to whatever his goals were.
He says Gilgeous-Alexander's success story on and off the court is a huge inspiration for young players.
Humble beginnings and hard work and what that can get you to, how that can pay off.
Only a dozen Canadian players have won an NBA title. Family and hometown fans hoping Gilgeous-Alexander will see much more success on the court. Mike Walker, CTV News, Hamilton.
Let's check in with Omar in the national newsroom now to find out what's coming up later tonight.
A sweltering heat wave scorches parts of the country.
Right now it's really hot.
How high did record-setting temperatures climb, and when can we expect relief? Later on CTV National News.
That heat warning still in place for us, feeling closer with that humidex in the 40s. We'll let you know how your morning is looking and wake up weather coming up. And cool off with some great shows right here on CTV. At 7 o'clock, we have E-Talk. 7:30, The Big Bang Theory. Then it's American Ninja Warrior at 8 before Yes Chef.
Hi there, I'm Angie Hill.
And I'm Sarge from Bounce Mornings with Angie and Sarge.
Bounce 99.5 and CTV Kitchener have joined forces to send you to see Coldplay at Rogers Stadium.
Ah, yes, the Music of the Spheres Tour, which is coming up July 7th.
Today's keyword is...
yellow.
Enter it now at ctvkitchener.ca for your chance to win.
All right, let's join Ashley Bacon now to see what our team is watching as we head into the evening. Ashley.
Well, Tony, our team is keeping an eye on a couple of city council meetings tonight where the topic of rent evictions is back on the agenda. Housing advocates are calling on the councils to vote to draft a rent eviction bylaw. CTV's Spencer Turcott will bring you those details and more tonight at 11:30. Tony.
Ashley, thank you very much. And Alex, we got at least another full day of heat to get through before things start to improve on that front.
Yeah, that heat warning sticking with us as we get into the overnight into tomorrow as well. So it should, by the end of the night, that's when we should be seeing a little bit of relief. But tomorrow morning, as we take a look at your wake-up weather, still going to be hot, still going to be humid by 6 a.m. It's going to be 25 degrees, mainly sunny. So if you've got to go out for a jog or maybe take the dog out, you definitely want to do it maybe before then. By 8 o'clock, mainly sunny conditions. That's going to be sticking with us just 1 degree higher, 26. And then it'll feel close to 30 by the time it's 10 a.m. We'll see a little bit of mix of sun and cloud, but still another hot, humid day. Shouldn't feel as hot as today, but still going to be a warm one.
And I don't think I've ever felt almost 40-degree humidity at midnight.
No.
But I did last night when I stepped outside.
Yeah, last night you definitely would have felt that.
This one's next level.
Oh, yes.
Okay, well, finally for us tonight, the largest camera ever made is sending back some truly out-of-this-world shots of our solar system.
The images were the focus of a celebration at the University of Toronto today. CTV's Jessica Smith reports.
Images that are truly out of this world.
In the images that we saw, we had galaxies nearby to us, we had very far away galaxies, there were objects we'd never seen before, and this is just the tiniest snapshot.
Here you can see Simone Survey Telescope.
The first images from the Vera C. Rubin Observatory in Chile, the Earth's largest camera, have made their way back to Earth.
The first images are amazing. Even knowing kind of, on paper what was going to come out, to actually see the images and the resolution is pretty awe-inspiring.
The telescope has been under construction for nearly 2 decades, and this week marks the first few images sent back from space.
Very soon, the telescope will start real operations, which means it'll start giving us data all the time, and really we'll have to run to keep up with it, which is exciting.
The live stream of the first findings were shared around the world, including to students and professors at the University of Toronto.
Even though we're watching from the US, this is a really big moment for Canada because it means that we actually will be able to do science with the data as well and discover these incredible things.
Over the next decade, the Rubin Observatory is set to create the ultimate time-lapse of the Southern Hemisphere. The public is encouraged to follow along by visiting rubinobservatory.org. Jessica Smith, CTV News.
Very beautiful.
Stunning shots.
Makes you realize how small we really all are, doesn't it?
I said this when we had a similar story last week.
Yeah.
I was like, it's a little scary, actually.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, yes. All right, well, before we go, just a quick little note, because I know everybody wonders when we disappear for a little while.
Yes.
I'm going to be off for the next 2 weeks. Just vacation time.
Well-deserved vacation
Thank you. Looking forward to it. Haven't taken more than a week off in well over a year.
Yeah,
So
and I think now's a good time, too. If you're going to be near a pool or a lake, at least go for a little bit of a dip.
I will be near both of those features at varying points over the next couple of weeks. You'll get your time too. Until then, have a great night. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again in a couple of weeks. Take care.
All right, take care.